everybody. John Van Dyke here for New Jersey Exposed. Today is Wednesday, January 13th, 2021. And let's see what time it is, because I know many of you out there want to know what time it is here in New Jersey. Well, according to my phone, it says 3:58 p.m. Yes, say it. Jersey time. Okay, so here's the deal. I got two videos for you to watch. It has to do with K-9 dogs. Now, you're probably saying, oh, another one of those videos where the dog's ripping the shit out of somebody. Nope. Not at all. Actually, it's the dog getting it. And guess who's beating the dog up and hurting the dog? I know what you just said. I know the thought came in your brain. You said it's the K-9 officer. You're absolutely right. Nobody is safe from some of these maniacs out there with the gun and the badge, including the K-9.
This is where the latest incident happened. The officer and his dog had stopped here while on their way to another part of Plymouth to help search for a suspect. Why the dogs decided to suddenly start biting the hand that literally fed it might never be known. A firefighter hosed down the pavement in this parking lot in Plymouth where the incident took place. Officer Keith Larson had pulled his cruiser into this parking lot to get his dog Nico ready for suspect tracking, when for some reason the dog turned on the officer, biting his hand, refusing to let go.
It appeared that his hand and up his arm, it looked like he had some injury there to his hand.
The police chief says eventually Officer Larson used his gun to shoot and kill the German Shepherd.
It happened near his cruiser. I don't think it lasted more than, I'm guessing, 30 to 45 seconds, which is a long time that he had to, to go through that. And as I'm sure you realize, it's difficult for the K-9 officer to dispatch their own dog like that.
The chief says Officer Larson and Nico had worked together for about a year and a half. He says the dog had bitten the officer once before and so was sent back into training, then given the okay last summer to return to duty. Tonight, Officer Larson is at South Shore Medical Center recovering from the bite wounds to his hands. The police chief says he might be released from the hospital as soon as tonight.
A police K-9 officer in Vacaville was caught on video hitting his dog. The department says the officer was correcting the animal, but the man who took that video says the officer went too far. Our crime reporter Henry Lee here now with more on what happened. Henry.
Julie, the man who posted this video on Facebook says he feels sorry for this police dog, but the department says it all has to be taken into context. This is video showing a Vacaville Police K9 officer in training straddling his dog on the ground and punching it.
I was wondering myself, what would the dog could have done to deserve that kind of punishment?
Floor installer Roberto Palomino was at his warehouse when he heard a dog in distress on Monday afternoon.
I started hearing a dog crying, kind of like in pain.
He looked outside and saw the officer with his dog in a parking lot near a Vacaville fire station.
That's when I saw the officer constantly beating the dog over and over. I did saw at least 10 punches to the dog.
He says that's when he took out his phone.
The only thing that I could do at the moment was pulling out my phone and recording what I was watching because I couldn't believe what I was watching.
He said the officer seemed to be looking for anyone who may have been watching him.
As soon as he saw me, that's when he stopped.
Palomino says he didn't confront the officer because he wasn't sure how the officer would react.
I was afraid of my life.
But he says he wanted to speak out now.
I hope he doesn't get to treat the dog like that anymore. I hope he doesn't get to treat people like that either.
This can be very alarming to a lay person.
Vacaville Police Captain Matt Lyden says the officer is training to become a K-9 handler. His dog, a Shepherd Malinois mix, had just found so-called drugs as part of a training exercise, but wouldn't give up a toy he got as a reward. The officer did get the toy back.
This angered the dog, and the dog reacted to this. The dog lunged at the handler and attempted to bite the handler.
He said what the officer did was to make clear that what the dog did wasn't okay.
It's important in K-9 training that the handler takes swift action to correct the dog's behavior.
Palomino says he's not so sure.
I feel very sorry for the dog, not gonna lie to you. I feel very sorry to the dog. I don't think nobody can be trained, even if it was that, like that. That was way too much abuse.
Vacaville police tell me they were unaware that there were other punches as alleged before the video began. The department says they are investigating whether the officer's actions were appropriate. Reporting live, Henry Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Henry, thank you.
How do you like that, huh? Those two videos. You got the one dog who's going to get taken out to do a detail and turns around and bites the handler's hand and doesn't let go. And the officer, you know, those officers are all armed, ready to go to Fallujah. He didn't use the nightstick, didn't get the pepper spray, didn't use the stun gun. Nope, they did what they do best. He got the gun and he shot the dog, killed the poor mutt. Now, how many videos out there have we seen where the K-9 dog gets ripping into some citizen, tearing their arm apart, biting their face off, gouging their legs out? And if you were to hit that dog because you're in great pain from that dog biting you, you would be arrested for assaulting a police officer. There's no hitting that dog and trying to stop it. But if that dog turns around and bites the cop can shoot him. Once again, more different sets of rules around here. You know, it's a sad thing is the dog is being exploited. We all know these police dogs are being exploited. And this poor dog here, who, you know, every time I see these dogs in the back of a police car, they're all jacked up, barking and trying to lunge at you. And the dog come out and the dog bites him and he shoots the poor thing. And you're not just killing a dog when you're doing this. It takes like $10,000, $15,000, maybe more, to train these mutts and to continue training these mutts and for the care of the dog, veterinary care and all that goes with it. And those police officers that care for that dog also get a stipend for having it too. Now, the second video, which I think is disgusting. Where's all the animal rights people? Where's all the humane officers out there? Why aren't they screaming about this? So the story goes with that dog, as you saw in the video, is that the dog, I guess he went to get the ball from the dog and the dog bit him, and he proceeds to jump on top of the dog and start wailing away on him. Now, most of these police dogs is a certain breed of German Shepherd. They're not very big, but they get that dog because the dog is very ferocious. So that's what they get. But this officer doing what they always do, what every big guy, every bully does, every idiot does, they resort to physical violence because that's all they know. That's all they know to solve a problem. Big guys have learned through life, early on in life, just use your muscles, use your size, use intimidation to solve a problem. And how did that handler solve the problem? Get on top of the dog and start beating the crap out of him. And fortunately, somebody heard all this going on, got his phone out, and once again, the phone is the cop's biggest enemy, and was able to record at least one punch. Now, the cops are trying to rewrite that story by saying, oh, no, he had to respond to the dog turning on him like that. Now, I don't disagree with that, but the method in which he's responding, I disagree with. If you've ever watched a dog whisperer, he doesn't take his foot and put it upside the dog's ass or clock the dog in the head. He comes by real quick and gives him a jab in the side or a jab in the neck real quick. I mean, I could also understand the handler taking the dog down and turning him upside down and then hold your hand to the neck, you don't choke him, and to dominate over the dog, because the dog understands being dominated. But instead, that cop took his anger out on that poor dog. Now, I understand that cop is no longer on handling that dog, but why isn't that officer being charged with assault on a police officer? There was no reason for that. But as I was getting ready to say before, you know, they're rewriting that story and saying, oh, yeah, you had to respond immediately to show the dog, to correct the dog's behavior. And they're trying to say, because the video doesn't show anything other than one punch, that he only hit him once. That bullshit. You know that cop wailed on that dog, and I feel bad for that poor dog. I feel bad for all these police dogs because they're being exploited. 100% exploited. If something goes bad, you know the cop lets the dog take the bullet. He's not taking the bullet for the dog. The dog takes the bullet. But it's disgusting. That cop should be arrested for assaulting an officer. He should be arrested for assaulting an animal cruelty. He should be fired. And finally, these police dogs, they should not be allowed. We all know what these dogs are being used for. If you don't, I'll enlighten you again in case you forgot. They are nothing more than a search warrant on a leash. They train these dogs to respond a certain way. You know, they got the secret handshake, the secret hand signal. You know, I don't know, maybe they scratch a thing or pull the ear or something like that, and the dog knows to go nuts and start barking and smiling and wagging his tail, so the cop can say, well, I got a positive alert, and that allows me to search the car. We all know that's what the dog is used for. Now, I don't have a problem with dogs being used for search and rescue, but I got a problem with these dogs being used for searching people's cars, because we all know it's bullshit. The more times than not, the dog's failure rate is a lot higher. So, but, you know, what are you going to do? You got the do-gooders, the bootlickers out there say, well, you know, we got to get the criminals off the street. They don't care about the Constitution and your rights. That's these bootlickers. They don't care. So the cops get away with it with these mutts. Simple as that. So, and then we also know the cops use the dogs to punish you. It's an unwritten rule in the policing community that if they have to chase you, you're going to take a punch or two, maybe a beat down, but I think they're getting away from the beat downs because there's too many cameras around. So they use the dog. There's a story I did a while back down in Atlantic City. I think it was about 2 summers ago, maybe a summer ago, I forget what it is, where they used the K-9 dog to rip somebody all apart. The guy got like 70 stitches in him, and it ended up costing the taxpayers of Atlantic City a lot of money. And I also wonder what the statistics are on how much money to settle lawsuits for civil rights violations from these dogs ripping into people. Like, there's that one video I put out there to show what these canines really do, where it's this black lady's going to the dumpster to throw a garbage out, and one of these idiot canine officers comes around with a dog that's on a 50-foot leash. You know, the rule is they got to keep the dog under control, so they put the dog on a 50-foot leash. Not really control, is it? Anyway, the dog comes around the dumpster, sees the black lady, and locks his jaws onto the poor lady's arm, and just, she's screaming in pain. The dog's not releasing. They're pulling the dog, pulling on her arm. That's what the canines are really about. So all you fools out there that donate money and help these police departments get dogs, you're making a big mistake. All you're doing is eroding your rights and setting people up for lawsuits. All right, let me know what you think about these cops and the dogs. We got one dog that's dead, another one got a beat down, simply because they're just being a dog. They don't know, you know, it's an animal. It doesn't know any better. So I feel for the animals, I really do, because they're being exploited. Simple as that. Okay, it's John Van Dyke for New Jersey Exposed. I'll put the links in the description. You can see the videos there. The videos are also posted on my Facebook page, Gunnison Undercover. You can certainly go there. I post stuff there all the time. Some of the stories I do on here come from there. Some of them I don't get a chance to, and they're on there and you can watch it. So, all right, let me know what you think. Till next time, people.
You know, a lot of my brothers are dead or gone, but they've been hanging on the block a little too long. What can I say?